Hello and welcome to the H&M show. I am Michael and Heather's not here, of
Peggy.
course. I know Heather's never here though. She's never here. What's up with that? So
Oh no.
I know. So every week Heather gets on and she asks me. She says, "Hey, Michael, what does H&M stand for?" Well, this week H, and you guys tell me if you're hearing my sound, okay? Just so I know, so I make sure that I've got it, okay? So H this week stands for how, and M stands for my, not why, but my, because my brand. So we're going to talk about that, and you say, what? What in the world does that talk about? So we're going to talk about this week, and it should be fun, and I'm so glad. I love when Peggy K comes on, because Peggy K, please say hello to everyone. Say hey.
Hey everyone.
There you go. I love it. It's so exciting. Every summit and everything else. I remember the first one when I know I always tell you this, but I loved it when I first saw you. I came up and I said, "Oh my God, I got to give you a big hug because I've known you on Hangouts forever, but I wanted to see you in person. That was just so cool. So glad that you're coming on because you're talking about something that I think a lot of people really want to know about, and that's brands and stuff because it's not just a person. It's more of a business type thing. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I think well, one thing I wanted to mention is that when people hear about brands, they assume it has to do with business, but it's not necessarily just for businesses.
Good.
What we're talking about is having an alternate identity on Google, and it
Okay.
doesn't have to be a business at all.
That's a cool way of looking at it. I never really thought of it that way. That's going to be interesting to see what you're talking about on that, and I'm sure you're going to kind of show us and guide us through. But
I plan to give sort of an introduction about what exactly are we talking about
good,
when we talk
good.
about brand accounts.
All right. Well, and before
And
we do that, tell everybody a little bit about you, real quick. Just touch on you a little bit and tell you where they can find you, all that kind of stuff. Because I have all of that stuff down in the descriptions and stuff, but I want you to kind of tell them a little bit.
oh, I haven't read the description. I
Okay.
hope it's good things. um, I am a top contributor in the Google Help for YouTube and Google Plus and Blogger and Hangouts and Project Fi.
And the
So I
list
kind
and the
of
list and the list goes on.
yeah, and one of the things that interests me and that I try and learn a lot about is how the different Google services interact with each other. So,
Mm-hmm.
you have uh, Google Plus integrated with different things, or not
Mm-hmm.
as much anymore, and YouTube interacts with different things. And I'm also interested in what's happening sort of behind the scenes.
Okay.
So, not just the products on the surface, but actually how they're functioning. And that's how I've actually learned a lot about brand accounts because I use a brand account
Great.
on Google Plus frequently. And I really want to understand how it works and how best to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I want to share with all you guys.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, let's get right to it then. How about it? You ready?
Okay,
All right.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna share. Let me share the screen that you have up here with me.
Oh, yeah, don't share the screen
Okay.
yet.
All right. Don't show it. I'm sorry. Don't show it. I'm not showing it.
I just wanted to give a little introduction first, which I don't think
Please.
requires a picture. Basically, what am I talking about when I say a brand account? And a brand account lets you use a different identity on Google than you use for your personal account. So, what am I talking about here? You can think of a lot of different reasons why you might have an alternate identity. One
Yeah.
is
Some not
you
good though.
have,
Some not good.
your superhero by
That's right.
night and you want to have your superhero identity, or, or you're a gamer and you have a gamer
Right. Right.
name.
Mm-hmm.
You write under a pseudonym. You have a business, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to be on YouTube as your business or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a hobby that you want to write about, but not necessarily under your name. You want to sort of brand it with the
Sure.
hobby name. Uh, you might manage the social media for your club or organization. You might have a show on YouTube and you want to name your YouTube channel after the show rather than having it named
Mm-hmm.
your personal name. So all of those are different identities, and you could create a completely separate Google account for each of those. Google does not require you to use your real name anymore. And so you could create, 6 different Google accounts, each with a username and password. But that's kind of a hassle to manage. And if you want someone to help you manage it, for example, if you have a business and you want your business assistant to help manage your social media, you would have to give them the direct sign in into that account. If you instead use a brand account is like a sub account of your Google account. So your main Google account would be the owner or the manager of that brand account. And that lets you sign into Google, one username and password, and then manage all your other brand account identities. All you need to do is switch between the different identities.
So they are
And
tied together,
because
though, right? I mean, they are tied together in sense, right?
they are all tied together, so
Okay.
they are all sort of underneath your Google account.
Okay.
I'll get into more details about
Sure.
how they're managed.
Sure.
And because a brand account can have not only an owner, but multiple managers, what you could do is designate people as managers. They sign in with their own personal Google account, and then they can manage the brand account. So for example, if I made a brand account, I could add you as a manager. That would mean that we could both sign in and manage that brand account's activity
Mm-hmm.
in the Google services that support brand accounts. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention is that a lot of you out there probably already have a brand account. If you have a Google Plus page, you have a brand account.
Okay.
If you have a YouTube channel, if you created a YouTube channel using a name, any channel name that's different than your main Google account name, you have a brand account. And in some cases, if you created a local business listing, you also have a brand account.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. So all different kinds
a
of
lot of
places.
people have brand accounts already. They
Just don't realize it.
know it, and to a certain extent, you don't need to know all the behind the scenes
Mhm.
details for most things. If you have it set up and it works for you, you may not have to worry about all the details. But I think it's useful to know how things are working
Absolutely.
behind the scenes, and that way you can go in and use the brand accounts to their fullest and change your settings and really optimize what you're doing on
Yeah.
Google.
I think that's a great point.
And so, and I should also mention though, that not every Google service supports brand accounts.
Of course not.
So that is the limitation of
Yeah.
using brand accounts.
Yeah, gotcha.
You can use a brand account on Google Plus for a Google Plus page. You can use a brand account on YouTube for your YouTube channel. You can use your brand account in Google Photos. Those are really the only Google services that support brand accounts.
Okay.
In addition to account, I mean, you can get into all the account settings and everything as well for brand accounts. But in terms of public-facing services, you're really limited to YouTube, Google Plus, and Photos.
So
you can't use your brand account for Gmail or Hangouts or anything like that.
Okay. Or Blogger. Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Kind of an interesting case. When you link your Google Plus profile to Blogger, you have the option of associating it with a Google Plus page.
Oh, wow.
Now, that does not work quite the same way because the page is not the author of your Google Plus blog. Your Google Plus profile remains the author of the blog. The Google Plus page becomes the publisher, which I'm not sure is that meaningful anymore. And really the main advantage of doing that is if you automatically share your blog posts from Blogger to Google Plus, you can share to the Google Plus page automatically if you link it.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you want to use a separate identity on Blogger, Blogger actually lets you use a unique Blogger profile that's separate from your Google profile.
Oh, really?
So you can do it that way.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I did not know that.
You should totally visit my blog and see see all the information I have
Got
in
it.
terms of different ways you can present your identity on
And that
Google.
is one of
Because
the things
it's
that I have there
complicated.
too. I have your blog in the description of this event too, so they can
Right.
find you. So just anybody that is looking for her blog, you can see that and can check it out. So
But one of the reasons why I do the tutorials and stuff is because
mhm.
it's complicated and
Right,
confusing,
yeah,
and it's understandable that most people don't know the details. And Blogger basically has Blogger profiles because it originally set up before there were even
yeah,
Google accounts.
yeah. Probably before there
So
was
it's kind
YouTube.
of a
Probably,
legacy thing,
yeah,
and who
exactly.
knows in the future what will happen. But
That's true.
let's see.
That is very
Oh,
true.
and one thing that I wanted to mention is brand accounts for business listings, which I'm pretty much not going to talk about because the way, if you look at the history of brand accounts,
Mm-hmm.
it started out there weren't any separate brand accounts. Instead, you would create a Google Plus page. And there
Okay.
were two kinds of Google Plus pages. There were brand pages and there were local pages. And so if you made a business listing to appear on Google Maps, you would get automatically a local page on Google Plus. Now, over time, it's been kind of confusing because Google Plus pages were first managed in Google Plus, and then they moved Google Plus pages to the Google My Business accounts, and you had to do that even if you didn't have a business. It was all confusing. But then when everything started to separate away from Google Plus, so
Mm-hmm.
Google Plus started to be independent, that's when we saw the separate brand accounts come in. So a brand account isn't a Google Plus page. A brand account is like a regular Google account in that a Google Plus identity is optional. So if you
Okay,
have a
so
Google Plus,
let me just understand, make sure I understand. On Google, if I'm in Google Plus, and I use Google Plus quite often, you know that, and a lot
mm-hmm,
of people do. If I set up a brand page, that's going to be separate from my profile, or is it still going to be connected?
yes. So what you would do is if you create a Google
Mm-hmm.
Plus page,
Mm-hmm.
you can switch between your acting as your profile and
Okay.
acting as your page.
Okay.
Um, and so for business listings, Google My Business in the past year has basically completely separated away from
Right.
Google Plus and
Right.
everything. And you no longer get a Google Plus page or a brand account with a business listing.
Oh
And
wow.
so there's a lot of confusing information out there because the way it used to work is that you would create a business listing and you'd automatically have a brand account. You could use Google Plus and YouTube.
Right.
That's not true anymore.
Hmm.
So for people with new listings since I think October of last year,
It's
it's just
completely
totally
separate.
separate from everything
Interesting.
else.
Wow.
And the existing brand accounts created through Google My Business don't function quite the same way
Oh.
as regular brand accounts. They're missing some features. And
So
so
you
I'm
have,
not going to discuss those specifically because
right.
it's sort of,
So you have to open
complicated.
and sign in two different ways. I mean, for business, for like you're talking about local My Business and signing in through your Google account, correct?
No, well, no, you can sign into business with your regular Google account and manage your listings. It's just that those listings are now separate
Okay.
from the brand accounts and Google Plus. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not really an expert in the local
Right.
business side of things,
Right.
which is
Right.
why I'm not going to talk about it.
Right. No, that's fine.
Um,
That's fine.
but I just wanted to put it out there because for people who do have local businesses,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of information, old information about how you can use your listing identity on Google Plus and YouTube that really isn't accurate anymore.
Right.
All right.
Interesting.
So now you can put up the screen sharing.
Okay. Let me make sure. Which
The
one do you
first
have
thing
there? Let's see.
I
So I can.
wanted, one thing
Okay.
uh, you need to know is that to create a brand account, you can't just create a brand account the way you can create a Google account. Instead, you have to either create the brand account along with the Google Plus page or create the brand account along with a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you kind of get them as a package deal. And I just wanted to show first how you do that on Google Plus, you should be seeing the Google Plus Discover page.
Yeah, it's on the Discover page. Sure is.
Yeah. And if you sign into Google Plus with your profile identity, you should see down at the very, very bottom of the left menu a link that says brands. Can you see that?
Yeah, let me make sure because I have your image over top of that. But now I see it. See the little hand down here? This is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's really not easy to see. You can tell that Google Plus isn't really strongly encouraging people to make Google Plus pages, but it's there. And if you click brands, it opens the create a Google Plus page.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Interface. And all you need to do is click the create a Google Plus page button.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates the brand account along with the Google Plus page.
Okay. Nice.
So that's pretty easy, right?
And it attaches it to the whatever's up in the top right circle. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, what?
It attaches to whatever's in the top right circle that you have, right?
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
Okay, good.
And so that will be your profile that owns the Google Plus page that you're making.
Gotcha.
And I just wanted to show you. You can also create the brand account along with the YouTube channel. And I have to.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. While you're getting that, I'm gonna ask a quick question here from Bill. He says, "So how do we find out if we have a brand account already and find it?" And that is basically attached to your profile, right? You hit your profile and check it there, right? Is that true or false?
Yes, I'm going to go through that in detail, but
Okay.
the short answer is that if you're on Google Plus, click your profile icon at top right, and you should see a list of your brand accounts.
Okay.
In the menu that appears. If you're on YouTube, click your channel icon and select the option to switch channels. And when you do that, you'll see a list again of all your brand accounts that you can switch to.
Okay. And
So,
Ross asked real quick, she says, "Is this still free?" And I guess Sheila answered, "Yes, it is." And that is true, right? It's all still free to do brand pages and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Good. Just making sure.
All right. So if you see the screen sharing again, you should see YouTube now.
I do.
And if you're in your YouTube account and you go to the settings, this is the settings page. You can add a new channel by clicking see all my channels or create a new channel.
Nice.
And that brings you to the all my channels page or the channel switcher page. And what you can see there is that it actually shows all of the identities on your account. So for the account that I'm showing here, Peggy K is the Google Plus profile, and I've got 2 additional channels that are on brand accounts. One that's called Awesome Show, and the other one that's called Dancing Fool. And there's also a third brand account down at the bottom, listed under brand accounts. That does not have a YouTube channel on it. Instead, what I can do is I can just click that to add a YouTube channel to the existing brand account.
Okay. So that's just a Google Plus account? Is that what that is? A Google Plus, is that a Google Plus brand account? Is that what that is?
It's not a Google Plus brand account. It's just a brand account.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So again, Google Plus is separate from brand accounts.
Okay.
And so in fact, if you look at the accounts I have set up here, the Awesome Show YouTube channel that does not have Google Plus, the Dancing Fool one has Google Plus and YouTube, and the Alter Ego one only has Google Plus and not YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So you can have any of those combinations.
Wow. Okay.
And to create a new YouTube channel and a brand account, all you do is click create a new channel.
Interesting.
Really, really easy. Again, to create a new channel, create a brand account, you just type in the name and click create, and that's it. It just takes a minute or so.
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
Then once you've done that, you can use that YouTube channel created brand account on Google Plus as well.
Okay, but now
So
they're all accessed through that main account though, correct? All of these are.
yes,
Every one of
yes.
these.
So
Okay.
let me show you really quickly how you switch
Okay.
channel identities.
Okay.
On YouTube, all you need to do, you have your channel icon at top right.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that let me go back to YouTube. You have your channel icon at top right. You can
Mm-hmm.
click that. Now, this is the old YouTube
Yeah.
interface,
Right.
and that looks very much like what you see on Google Plus or
Mm-hmm.
Google Photos,
Mm-hmm.
where you see your brand accounts listed below
Mm-hmm.
your name. If you go to the new YouTube layout, which is now, you click your channel. Oops, I didn't mean to launch a video there. You click the channel icon at the top right, and then you select switch account.
Okay.
And then that pops up your list of your different channels that are on the same account.
Okay. I notice it doesn't have the alter ego one listed there because that's a separate account, right?
It does not, because that does not have a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So on
Didn't tie to that.
YouTube, you will only see the ones listed that have a YouTube
Okay.
channel added to it.
Okay. Got it.
Now on Google Plus, it looks a little bit different in that when you click your profile photo at the top right, you'll see all your brand accounts, whether you have Google Plus page on them or not.
Okay. Okay.
So, for example, Awesome Show listed here, that has a YouTube channel on the brand account and not Google Plus.
But not Google Plus,
If
right?
I select that,
Takes you to.
you'll see that on the left menu, there's an Enable Google Plus option.
Wow. Okay.
So that lets you add a Google Plus page to a brand account you created through YouTube.
Gotcha.
And then the third product where you can use your brand account is Google Photos. And again, you switch between your different identities the same way by clicking your profile photo at top right and then choosing the identity you want to use. And while Google Photos isn't really a public identity, it's a really useful service to have because you can upload images to your brand account's Google Photos. And that means every manager of that brand account can then access those images.
Interesting.
And then you can easily share from Google Photos to Google Plus, or if you want to add a cover image banner on YouTube, you can actually just access directly any images that are uploaded to Google Plus for that brand, Google Photos for that brand account. So you can use Google Photos for organizing images for the brand account.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. And whenever you switched, like I said, your sound went wonky whenever we switched over to this, just so you know, just so you're aware.
Okay.
But it happens. It happens sometimes. I mean, that's just part of it. But anyway.
So that's essentially how brand accounts work. You can have your YouTube channel, you can have your Google Plus page, and once you have switched to that identity, so if you're on Google Plus, you sign in with your Google Plus profile, you switch to the brand account, and you're acting as the Google Plus page, and then Google Plus functions exactly the same way as it would for your profile. It used to be a long time ago that Google Plus pages didn't have exactly the same features as Google Plus profiles did.
Right.
Now they function essentially the same way.
Oh, wow.
And there's no way to visually distinguish between a Google Plus profile and a Google Plus page. To someone who's just looking at it, they now look the same.
Okay. Interesting.
And one thing I wanted to mention too is that you've created a Google Plus page, you've created a YouTube channel on your brand account, there isn't any way for the public to see who the managers or owners of those are. So if you're worried about people tracing your identity back, there's no way for people to see that. So
Okay.
it's
A little bit of anonymity for your friends that are helping you out, really.
yeah.
So,
So
that's
you
good.
so
That's
it's
good.
that identity is separate from your Google account identity. You
That's
know what
good.
it is.
Right.
If you're a manager of the brand
Right,
account,
exactly.
you know
Yeah.
who all the other managers are.
Yeah.
But nobody in the public can see that information.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. All right.
So is that making sense so far?
Oh yeah, to me, yeah, that is very clear. It's a lot clearer than it was before, but I also understand there's a lot of confusion too, still because of it's almost like a transition that hasn't really completely
It's been
transitioned.
really confusing as
Yeah.
Google kind of changed the way
Right.
things look and where things are located. And,
Yeah.
and it seems to have settled down some now,
Mm-hmm.
but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they changed it more over the course of the next year, just because that's the way it's been happening.
So
But
true.
it's good to know all the details of how it works now, because if they do change things, it makes it easier to figure out how to go with the flow. You know, if you
Mm-hmm.
have a good sort of more in-depth understanding of how they work.
So when on all of these accounts and these brand accounts and everything else, do you find this when you go under, you know how I go to what is it, accounts.google.com, my account? Will all of this show up there or no?
Okay, so that is an excellent question.
Okay.
And that brings me to the next thing I was going to talk about is how do you manage these brand accounts?
Mm.
Now, if you want to manage an individual brand account for a YouTube channel, for example, you can actually go to the settings for that brand account from the YouTube settings. That's not what I meant to do.
I won't share it till you're ready for me to share it.
All right, so if you look at the screen I have now,
Mm-hmm.
this is using my profile, and then if I switch to brand account channel, you'll see that there are additional settings.
Oh yeah.
You now have view or change your account settings, and then add and remove managers.
Okay, so you can have managers per account then. I mean, per different brand, I should say, right?
Yes. And I wanted to mention also that in YouTube, if you go to your settings and click Advanced,
Mm-hmm.
it will show you that it is on a brand account.
Oh, okay.
If you're the owner of this channel and the connected brand account, if you're a manager rather than an owner, it will say you're the manager of this channel and the connected brand account.
Okay.
So that information is there. It's not as easy to find on Google Plus as it is.
Yeah, I'm sure. So is there a difference though? Is there a difference in, okay, so your profile instead of a brand? You can't have managers for your profile, can you, or can you?
You cannot.
Yeah,
No, if you
okay.
want to have managers, you have to be using a brand account.
Okay, good. I just wanted to clarify that and make sure that was right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons to use a brand account on Google Plus page, so that you can have managers or co-own the identity.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
All right, so let me show you really quickly how you can find your list of brand accounts separate from YouTube and separate from Google Plus. If you just wanted to go in and see which brand accounts you have and change the settings and so forth.
Okay.
So,
I'll give you a second to change that. I switched off that view so that way you can get it set up.
it's all set up now.
Okay.
You start on your Google account's My Account page. And you can get there from anywhere on Google by clicking My
Right.
Account. Now you can see that the My Account settings actually support brand accounts. So you can switch to your brand account in the My Account settings. But what if you wanted to see all of them? Because if you have a bunch of brand accounts, they may not all be in that list, or you just want to do management and not actually look at the Google account settings for the brand account. And to do that, it's a little bit buried. So you start on your
Is
My
it,
Account
hey,
settings.
Peggy, is it down in the bottom left corner where it just has the word brand? No, I'm just kidding. Just like you did for Google Plus.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. So under personal info and privacy, you click manage your Google activity. All right. And then you scroll down to where it says Google Dashboard.
Wow.
And if you've never checked your Google Dashboard before, it's worth looking at, because when you go to your dashboard, it shows all of the Google services that your Google account is using.
Oh, nice.
And you may have stuff there that you didn't even realize that you have. But for our purposes, we're going to go down to see where it says brand accounts.
Mm-hmm. Shows them all.
You just click that to expand it, and then say, go to brand accounts. And what it does is it goes to your brand account management section of your Google account. Now,
Wow.
what I usually do is I have a bookmark link for this, so I don't go through all those clicks.
Just taking you
It's my
straight to
brand
the, yeah, just taking you straight to this page so you can manage it here.
It's myaccount.google.com/brand accounts.
Gotcha.
Pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
And you'll see, this is where you can see if you've been invited to manage other brand accounts that other people have,
Oh,
change
nice.
your email preferences, and then you'll see all your brand accounts listed. All you need to do is click on the brand account name, and that brings up the details page for you. You can manage everything for that brand account.
Okay.
So I just wanted to point out some of the settings here. There's edit account info, and that opens the About Me
Okay.
page for the brand account. That lets you change your profile photos, change your name. You can add links in a story, and that's mostly information that's shown on Google Plus when people click
Right.
About on your profile.
Right. I've seen that.
Then you can view general account info. That goes to the My Account information for the brand account. So that's the Google account, security settings, activity log, all of those things. Manage permissions is the way to add or remove managers. And then you have icons that show the services on the brand account. And this one has Google Photos, Google Plus, and YouTube. And you can just click Google Plus, for example, and it will open Google Plus with you acting in the role of the manager of that Google Plus page.
Okay. Interesting.
And then delete account.
And this is tied to Google Plus, not. Oh no, this is all. This is. It doesn't matter if you're on YouTube or not, right? It's both. All.
So let me show you. So this brand account
Right.
has Google Photos, Google Plus, and YouTube.
Okay. Yeah,
if I go
gotcha.
back to my list, I can pick one of the other brand accounts.
Look.
Now, this
there you
brand
go.
account
No
only
Google
has
Plus.
Photos and YouTube.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're all a little bit different from each other.
Okay. Good. Okay, so let me ask you this real quick. If I'm using my alter ego because it's tied to YouTube but not Google Plus and stuff, and then I have a copyright strike on YouTube on that particular brand page, am I affected on my account as well, or is it just the brand page? And I'm just curious. Someone asked me, that's why I was
It's
asking.
a really really good question.
Well,
I mean, I think the short answer is possibly yes.
okay.
YouTube hasn't provided a lot of information about that, but technically, as far as I know, if you have things like copyright strikes, they can affect all the channels that are
Okay.
on your account.
Because it's you.
And
Because it's tied to
and
you. Okay, I
and,
got you.
and if you have a YouTube channel that's terminated, you're not
Right.
allowed to use YouTube. That's YouTube's policy, is that you're not allowed to have another channel. So
Oh, wow.
if you have all your channels on one account, you
Wow.
could lose all your channels.
Okay.
So don't break the rules.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I'm just saying sometimes that can happen, even if it's a, you can be,
Yeah.
you can have a strike and it's real, and you can dispute it and get it taken off because it really wasn't something wrong. It was just they had it misinterpreted or something like that or whatever the case is. I mean, it does happen.
If that happens, be
Yeah.
sure to appeal.
Right.
Appeal
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
it's
Is
true.
that if it
So-
does happen,
so
I was just curious whether it affects all of them. Is all I was saying.
It could.
So yeah,
It definitely could.
Okay. Good to know though. That's great.
And so the last thing that I really wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about is managers. And so if you click manage permissions,
Okay.
that opens up a screen that shows who the owners are.
Mm-hmm.
Now this particular brand account has me as the owner. If I want to add a manager, just click the icon at top right and add the new user. And usually what you do is you would just enter
Email address.
in the Google account email of
Right.
the person you
Right.
want to have as a manager.
Gotcha.
And when you do that, you have to choose a role. Now you
Right.
you can have more than one owner for the brand account, although
Okay.
that is really not a great idea unless you really, really trust the other person, right? Because an owner
Right.
can do anything,
Right.
including delete everything or
Okay.
transfer it to somebody else. And you see
Start a video on YouTube or whatever, edit videos and do all that same stuff that a normal owner does, right? Or no?
So managers
Uh-huh.
can really do pretty much everything. They can upload content, they can delete content, they can post comments, they can moderate comments. But the one thing that the manager cannot do, or two things, the manager cannot delete the brand account or the YouTube channel or the Google Plus page, and the manager cannot add new managers.
Okay. Can they start a live broadcast? Just curious. Could one of your managers start the live broadcast?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh wow, okay, that's
And
interesting.
managers can do anything,
Okay,
basically, except for
those things you
adding
listed.
new managers and
Right.
deletion.
Right. Okay. Nice.
And then you see, you'll see that there is another role called communications manager.
Yeah.
Now, a communications manager actually cannot act on YouTube at all. That's only for Google Plus.
Oh wow.
And on Google Plus, the communications manager can still post content, moderate content, remove comments, but they cannot change the account settings. Managers can actually change the account settings.
Okay.
Communications managers cannot.
Okay.
So one of the important things that I'd like to say, really, really important, is first of all, if you're a business owner or you have a brand, you need to know how to sign in as the owner of the brand account. So many times in both the Google Plus help community and the YouTube help forum, we have people come in and say, someone came in, so we had someone at our business created the YouTube channel,
and then they're gone.
that person left.
Yeah.
That person was fired.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to sign in as owner anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a brand, you need to know how to sign in as the owner, because that's the only way to add and remove managers,
Mm-hmm.
and transfer your YouTube channel and do some
That
other.
might be a reason, especially if you're a company like that has a specific brand where you might that might be an instance where you want to have two owners. I mean, I would say
Potentially, yes.
potentially, yeah. I'm just saying because it's still tied to account and all that kind of stuff, but it could be very much so that you want to have dual ownership in case that particular situation happens, or you know that it could possibly happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And the important thing, though, is never add someone as an owner or manager unless you absolutely can trust them.
Right.
Again, we see this in YouTube more than on Google Plus, where someone's like, "Well, this person said that they would help me, and I added them as an
Mm-hmm.
owner, and now I can't access my account anymore."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you add someone as an owner and they transfer your channel away to someone else,
Yeah, it's gone.
they can remove you,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's lost, and there's really nothing that Google can do about it if you voluntarily add
Right.
someone as
Right.
an owner.
Right.
So a
Caution.
million times you got to trust. Only add people who you absolutely
Mm-hmm.
know you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of I think most people understand that, although some people are just more trusting.
Well, that's my
sometimes.
dog. My dog's the only one that can trust, but I don't think his paws can sit there and enter in his password. So and you don't have he doesn't have a fingerprint, so he can't do that either. So that's who I trust. So all right. So let's see. Any
That's the
questions?
big overview. I know I covered a lot of things really quickly
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah, it was
But
good.
do people have
Yeah,
specific questions?
I know Ross just asked one. What if somebody passes away? I mean, she put it point blank there. And you know what? I know this from experience. My uncle in our business, he passed away, and we had that situation. Google does have a way to go through the process. I mean, this is just from my experience that you can go through, but you have to. Like his wife had to verify with a death certificate, and there's a lot of things that you have to go through to get that process. It's not an easy process, I will say that,
No.
but it is possible. I'll give you that. And we never did get it. I mean, she had to just try every possible password in the world to figure out how to do it, and that's the only way we ever got in. But
That's why it's important that if you have online content that's important to you, important to your business, you have the username and password written down somewhere, someplace secure, so that if something happened to you, the people who take over can actually access the accounts directly. Because like you say, there is a process, although in some cases, Google may not actually transfer the account to you. They might just delete it, at your request. So it's really, and again, we hear a lot of sad stories from people who have
no
lost
doubt,
someone
no
important to
doubt.
them, and they want and need to access their account,
Yep.
and
And
they
can't.
don't have that information.
And they can't. Yeah, exactly. So yes, that is not fun, not a fun situation to be in at
No.
all. So yeah, so just
And I'll
use
add
caution and security. I mean, just be very secure there. So
I think, like most things on Google, account security is really good, but that makes it really hard to recover access to the account if you need it. Brand account, again, if all you know is the brand account link, the YouTube channel link, the Google Plus page link, there's no way to get back to that from that link to the Google account you need to sign into. There's no recovery options for that. You need to have it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't get forgotten or lost.
That's right.
Because it is secure.
Yep, that's true. Hey, Mark asked, I know he was going to be off and on being in here, but he asked earlier, and I think you saw the comment earlier too. I'm going to touch, one, you talked about the Google listing and you weren't going to talk about that much or whatever, whether he should tie his brand page to that. you can say something to that if you want to, but I was going to go on to the next one unless you just because you said I'm not going to touch. I'm not gonna, he says, should I have my Google Plus brand page mentioned in the body of my Google local listing? I'm just learning how to use Google My Business platform. It's a lot of cool features. And like you said, it's a separate entity. So.
And like I said, I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
My gut feeling is that you should probably just make, if you want to use Google Plus, or if you don't have a Google Plus page set up already, if you have an existing Google Plus page, you should probably just use that. But if you don't have one set up already, and you don't have a YouTube channel set up already, you might be better off creating a new brand account that's not tied to Google My Business, because Google My Business really just doesn't.
It's a totally different entity.
The brand accounts anymore. I mean, and I'm speaking not as an expert in that, but as someone who sees all questions in the community. And I know that the functionality isn't always working quite right for those accounts.
Interesting. Mark had another question, if you don't mind. Is it a good idea to post something from my Google Plus brand page from my Facebook brand page post? That's a tough one. That's a tough call. I think it's more of.
Wait. I'm having trouble visualizing.
Okay.
Exactly.
So would be okay. Is it a good idea to post something from my Google Plus brand page? And then he says from my Facebook brand page post. So bringing in a Facebook post into a Google Plus page.
I don't see why not. I mean, to me, okay, I'm not an expert in Facebook pages either.
Right.
It's sort of the same idea on Facebook. You have an alternate Facebook identity that's not your personal identity. It's for your brand or business. And so you might want to have similar content on the Facebook page as you have on your Google Plus page. If you want to maintain identities in both places.
Yeah. Let's see. Ross said, she said thank you, first of all, so that it is possible, that we did tell her that it is possible for someone that does pass. She says, I put safe stuff in a safe place, then forget where it is. You should do it with the kids' Christmas gifts. There you go. And Bill mentions, he says, that is possible for all forums, Ross. As owners, we need to give that information to someone we trust and look at after this is that as a final request. Yeah, I think that's a good point too. And it's not a bad idea. I mean, seriously, just to have that in a safe spot afterward, that kind of thing. So
I wanted to mention, Michael Thomas has posted a question about backups. You can back up your brand account completely by going into the Google My Account settings and switching to the brand account identity, and then going to the steps to go to Google Takeout. Google Takeout lets you export an archive of all your data, and you can do that for your brand account the same way you do it for your personal Google account. That's a really good idea to do that.
It is.
Do it, all your
periodically
posts, all your YouTube channel videos. Do it now. Do it often.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And that's a very common question also. Hey, what happened to my Hangout chat history? What happened to this? All this kind of stuff. And if you're doing that quite regularly, you will have that information, and you can take out all of that. And I'm talking about every account. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I even think Google Photos. I think everything comes on Takeout. Takes a little bit, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's definitely worth taking that. I agree with you. I always forget about that, but you do hear about that in the forums and stuff, and I've actually given that same advice in the forums. So
it's looking like maybe you need to have another show about backing up.
Yeah, no doubt. There you go.
And I'm making a note, because I make tutorials on my YouTube channel. I'm thinking maybe that's something I could make a tutorial for.
In your blog too. Yeah, I see stuff like that all the time in your blogs and Google Plus posts as well. So you do a great job with that. All right, I'm going to get right into the next. Let's get into. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in. I'm going to go in tech in the news. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to do a sneak peek at last week, show you who's going to be on next week, and then afterward we'll have the closing, final goodbyes and hellos to Peggy, and then anybody who is a member of our community. Remember, our community. We have a community. It's $10 a month, where we all sit in and you can chat to the person, the guest we have on. You can chat as much as you want. We'll put the link out there in our community so you can come do that. To join the community, the directions are also down in the description down below, how to sign up for the community, so you can come in anytime, talk to anybody, guests that we have on. Also, we do workshops once a month. We try to do a workshop on something that you guys are interested in, and it's really kind of cool. It's collaborative. We do it, you do it, I do it, or whoever, Heather does it, and we bring anybody in. We'll teach you some stuff like that, so it's really cool stuff that we do for that. So let me get into tech in the news real quick. Let me go pull that screen up real quick, and really cool stuff. And Peggy, you can interject if you want to, because you may have heard the same stuff. I saw this Hawaii's, or however you pronounce that, new laptop has a mechanical pop-up webcam in the keyboard. I thought that was hilarious. It actually has a where the camera pops up like right between like the F7 and F8 or something like that up there. It's kind of crazy. And I guess because people look down at their keyboard all the time, that's where their camera is. I just put in the comments there if you think you would ever use that. I personally don't know that I would ever like that or want that. But I thought that was kind of funny. And
who thought that was a good idea?
I know. I guess they did. Someone did. Anyway, they had a request for, or enough requests for it, because that's kind of silly. I can just see that being damaged, though. Could you not? And then Olympics. Olympics are over. Tell me what you thought. Put it in the comments down there after the show. What did you think about the coverage, the online coverage? If some of you watch, because I know it was at different hours and stuff like that, the live stuff. And I know I watched a lot of live stuff at work, like at lunch break, and some more than my lunch break that I probably should have. But give me some feedback and tell me whether you watched it, what you thought of it, and whether you thought this was as good a coverage. Like, to me, in my opinion, personally, I'll put mine out there. The last Olympics was amazing coverage. This one, not so great, but we can get into that shot too if you want to. The other thing that this huge news this week, and I have to put it out there, is updating YouTube live streaming. You're going to be able to save the live streaming right next to your video when you go to the replay. Really cool stuff. I know they say in there clearly that you can't add a comment in the middle of, as the comments are going, but you can always add the comment down the bottom where you normally could in a YouTube video. But this is kind of cool. So the comments pop up in the show as when you're talking about them and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing. I think it's going to be really cool. What do you think, Peggy? I'll get your opinion since it is a YouTube thing.
I think it's actually kind of a game changer, because it's, you are always interacting with the people in the live chat, mm-hmm. and lots of other channels. I mean, that's part of the reason why people go to live streaming shows, so they can be in the live chat and the discussion. Being able to watch the replay of the chat as the video was streamed.
Mm-hmm.
Lets everybody kind of see what the discussion was about, because without seeing the live chat, you're only seeing
really,
what's going on.
Yeah, it's like watching a webinar almost, or something, because you're only seeing half.
Yeah. And
there could be some good content out there. There's going to be junk out there too. You're going to have all that, but
I do wonder if it's going to make some people think twice about the kinds of things that they post.
Maybe
to be replayed later on.
Some maybe, some no. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know how that goes, but let's take a quick sneak peek at next week and see what we got. And let me go to that real quick. Does a little We have Ted Juke, I think is his name. Juck or Juke, I can never remember his last name. He'll get me next week, I know, because I always mess it up. But he's going to come in and talk to us about spreadsheets. Really cool, neat guy. Saw him a couple times. Actually, I think Peggy, you were down there with me when we were talking to him at the bar in the hotel when we were at the summit and everything. Really great guy, awesome guy. Really knows a lot about spreadsheets. He's in the forum a lot, answering stuff. He's been on before. One thing is kind of cool. He's going to bring his March Madness spreadsheet and show us how he designed it and do all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be really cool. I think it'll be a fun thing.
I think, he does a lot of stuff with spreadsheets that you don't actually realize you can do.
Yep.
So it's like cool uses for something that sounds like it's for accounting, but you can actually use it for fun stuff like March Madness too.
Can't wait to have him on. I think that'd be really cool. All right, folks, I'm going to go put the link over in the community. You guys come in with Peggy. She's going to stay here for a little bit. She said yes to that, so that's going to be cool. She's going to sit here and chat with us. So if you're a member of the community, come on in. You'll get the link in, like I said, in our Google Plus community. You'll have it there. I'm going to do the sign-off stuff. Thank you, everybody, for coming. If you watch the replay of this and you have comments off to the side, let me know that too, because I want to know if they show up yet, because I know it's slow rollout. I know it's a slow rollout. But, Peggy, thank you so much. You are on screen right now. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. You can tell I like to talk about this stuff.
I know. And that's so cool. I love it. I'm glad you do, because it means a lot. And as a top contributor, which just so everybody knows, top contributors are not paid by Google. So all we did is we contribute and try and help people out in the forums. And really, I don't know about you, Peggy, but I know I learn stuff because I'm curious, and then when I go find out from somebody who does know,
absolutely,
I pick up stuff all the time.
If I wasn't a top contributor, I would probably not know half of this.
I agree with you. No, it's so true. It's so true. And
it's not just that I look it up, but it's also interacting with all the other experts.
Exactly. I mean, I learned stuff. I like to think to myself, hey, listen, I've been doing Hangouts forever. I'm pretty much an expert. There's times when you don't know something. So it's really good to have those guys. Thanks again for coming. As I mentioned too, also I have all of Peggy's stuff down in the description of this. Please go in there, check it out. It has her blogger page, her YouTube page, where to find her, that kind of stuff. I don't know if you gave me the Twitter information. If not, I can put that in there. If you want it in there, I can do that too. Whatever. I mean, I'll put whatever we need to in there so you can get a hold of her or talk to her or chat with her and find out where she is. And really, check out her blog. I think you do a great job with your blog too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And if you have questions, you can comment on the blog, comment on my videos.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Contact me through Google Plus.
I like the idea of doing it on your videos too, because that gives you some juice there, activity on YouTube, which is, everybody knows that's important nowadays. They look at that stuff. So.
I have a playlist of brand account related tutorials.
Nice.
It's on the front page of my channel.
Nice.
I can share the link after we finish here.
All right. I'm going to run the closing credits. Anybody that wants to join, I will have that link for you. Thank you again, Peggy K. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.